Hey everybody, welcome to Balance Your Chakras with Essential Oils and Crystals. My name is Gina Cavallini and I'm with Rosemary and Thyme Health located here in Portland, Oregon. So first of all, I just want to encourage you guys, I'm going to be giving you guys a lot of information. So as I go through it, please feel free to take screenshots of any of the chakras that you feel might be out of balance, because I'll give you a list and affirmations for things that you can say during the week to help balance your chakras. So what are chakras? Chakras are our energy centers in our body, which our energy flows. So by understanding these energy centers, they are directly linked to our mental and physical and spiritual attributes. So each chakra represents what you can do to keep this energy flowing freely, and you can achieve an optimal quality of life for yourself and those around you by keeping them balanced. So just as an overall rule, you can apply all of the oils that I am going to recommend to you, and you can be drawn to whichever one resonates with you at that time, and just place 1 to 3 drops over the appropriate chakra area and on the bottoms of the feet. And you can also inhale it throughout the day as you're working your affirmations and working through your energy to put yourself more in balance. And I also want to encourage you to use a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil or jojoba or even castor oil, and apply that directly onto the skin, especially if you're going to apply it to the neck. I know that some oils can be hot for myself on the neck. Just to make sure that you are diluting them down. And it also helps with absorption. So what happens? Why does this happen to us? How do we clear them out and balance them? So chakras can become imbalanced by becoming blocked, which is underactive, or overly intense, which is overactive. And I will walk you through what those physical symptoms or emotional symptoms that you might be experiencing, so you can be like, oh, okay, I need to work that chakra. So when this happens, our being as a whole becomes imbalanced, which often leads to illness or emotional blocks and creating an unhealthy environment for ourselves. So I'm going to help you determine which of the following, the well-being of each chakra, and I can assist you in balancing them out. So first, I'll give you a high-level overview of the chakra. You can take a screenshot of this, because your meditation for the week and your negative emotion and your basic right of each chakra, plus a visual will be located on this page with the essential oils and the crystals. So go ahead and screenshot this. So the root chakra is our first chakra, and it's about our basic survival, our security, and our stability. And it's located at the base of the spine. And sometimes people like to connect with the chakra in the like perennial area down there, anus, those kinds of things. So the color of this chakra is red, and that's to represent the blood and the life force. This chakra has 4 petals, and its negative primary emotion is fear. So people being in fight or flight. So think about basic survival and security, right? So here's your meditation that you can state to yourself if you want to work with the root chakra. And I have to say that a lot of us are unbalanced in our root chakra, and this is the core of who we are for safety and security. So I highly recommend that, even if you might not feel that you need it, to continue to tune into your root chakra all of the time on a daily basis. Just check in and see where it's at. And then here are the essential oils that I have listed that you can use: arborvitae, basil, on guard, deep blue, balance, patchouli, juniper berry. And then the following crystals: bloodstone, garnet, ruby, red jasper, and hematite. These are key crystals that you can work with. You're working with the color red, and hematite is a very, very grounding crystal. So just to clarify, I use doTERRA essential oils. You might be using other essential oils that you like. So balance is the grounding blend. And deep blue is the soothing blend, just FYI. So what happens when you are underactive in your root chakra? This is when you might be experiencing behaviors where you are neglecting yourself. You might be underweight. You have poor self-discipline and boundaries. You might suffer depression, passivity, lethargy. You might be chronically disorganized, fear of change, or feelings of not belonging. So this is about feeling connected to others and connected to self. So remember that. Number one oil I would use that I would recommend out of any of them is the Balance Blend, or another brand, which could be their grounding blend. Just go straight to the source. They have already blended it up for you. In fact, I have my Balance Blend next to me whenever I teach, and I use it each time I go live. So if you are overactive in this chakra, you might be overeating. You might crave unhealthy foods. You might feel paranoid, nervous. You might have aggression, dominance. You might be addicted to adrenaline type activities. You might hoard or have material fixations. Because remember, this is about our basic survival, our needs being met on, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Do we have enough food? Do we have enough money to pay our bills, and those kinds of things? And this is where this root chakra is really going to help support you with that. So if you are overactive and experiencing these types of symptoms, use hematite. You can also use smoky quartz, which I did not actually put on the first page, or black tourmaline is a good idea for you. And the best oil to use for overactive chakras is patchouli. Now, I'm going to give you these recommendations based on what I think the best one to use. But again, if you took a screenshot of the first slide, there's going to be additional ones. And again, tune into yourself. You're going to be drawn to a particular oil that your body needs at that time. So pay attention to that, right? We want to connect with our intuition and connect with this plant medicine in what works for us as individuals. So if you are balanced, what your key goal of this is, you want to feel abundant health and energy. You want to feel grounded and settled. You want to be comfortable in your own body, have a sense of safety and security, and you want to feel happiness in your job and career, and just overall satisfied with life, and have material prosperity. When you have these things that are showing up in your life, then that means that your root chakra is balanced. And physical symptoms that you might feel as if you are underactive and overactive is, pay attention to these. So you might have constipation, lower back pain, sciatica pain, issues with your legs, feet, knees, groins, hips. Because remember, this is root. This is like you standing in your power and being strong. You might have rectal or anal problems and have frequent illness. Okay, so our second chakra, which is just above the root chakra, I like to tune into this chakra between basically the belly button and my vaginal area, and tune in there. This is where it's primarily located. And its color is orange, and it has 6 petals. So the purpose of this chakra is our authentic creation. This is where women have our life force, right? It's about creation and doing, our soul fire, and our sexuality. So your negative emotion, if you feel guilt a lot of the time, you might have an imbalance in your second chakra. Think about feeling guilty about sexual issues or not being able to connect with others in that way. Your basic right of this chakra is to feel and have pleasure. So here's your weekly meditation. Go ahead and screenshot that. And then essential oils that you can use to help balance this chakra. So we have black pepper, cinnamon, which can be hot, so make sure you dilute it, cypress, tangerine, orange, purify, which is the cleansing blend, Citrus Bliss, Clary Calm, which is the women's monthly blend, and Whisper, which is, I believe, the feminine or perfume blend that doTERRA calls it Whisper, but I'm not sure what the other terms are that they use to call this. But this is like your daily perfume that they usually create. And then here's your crystals that you can use. Carnelian, citrine, orange calcite, orange carnelian, and fire opal. So remember, you're playing with those colors. You can also wear the colors, right? I would wear when I was working with certain chakras, I would actually wear the shirt associated with that color of chakra just to tune in for that week and get it tuned up. Easy things that you can do. So what happens if it's underactive? You'll be unemotional and guarded, and you'll also have self-deprivation, sexual repression, poor social skills. You'll deny yourself pleasure and the lack of desire or passion. So I really encourage people to use cinnamon. This is a very warm oil. It's sensual, it's sexy. And that would be my top oil that I would use if you are underactive in this area. And the second one that I would use, especially if you are female, would be to use the women's monthly blend. And I would highly recommend working with ruby and carnelian. If you are overactive, this is people who have an excessive sex drive, very compulsive behaviors, lots of tension and frustration with others. You might be overly emotional, hypersensitive, and be emotionally dependent on other people. So in this case, you want to clear out that guilt and shame and purify your relationship with sex within yourself. So that Purify Cleansing Blend is really, really good to apply to this area. And there's some additional crystals that you can use here for an overactive sex drive on top of what I posted in the first slide. So what do you want to create when you're working with this chakra and getting it balanced? How are you going to move into this feeling? You're going to be able to have healthy creative expression. You're going to have balanced hormones so that you can even enjoy your healthy sex life. You'll have the ability to experience pleasure. You'll be generous and giving, nurturing to self, and you'll have healthy boundaries with others. So physical ways that this might be manifesting out for you would be reproductive disorders, PMS, those kinds of things, fertility issues, problems with your urinary system, so frequent UTIs, spleen, gallbladder, and kidney issues, sexual dysfunction, lack of flexibility, and deadened senses. All right, so your solar or power chakra. I'm wearing yellow. I just randomly picked it out today, but because I'm filming, I want to be able to have the courage and the energy to do this, right? So I'm tuning in automatically to that chakra. So what's it about? It's about your personal power and your personal self-worth, your self-confidence and your self-esteem. It has 10 petals and its color, as I mentioned, is yellow. So pay attention to these negative emotions that come with it. Are you feeling shame? Do you feel like a victim? Are you a constant martyr to yourself and to others, right? That's not standing in our power. So this is the chakra that you want to work with if you are dealing with those types of things. Here's your basic rite and your meditation that you can say to yourself this week if you want to work with it. And here is a list of your essential oils to use. I love bergamot, by the way, for the power chakra. It's my favorite one personally. I use it the most. And then crystals that you can use. Think of those yellow crystals: sunstone citrine, yellow calcite, amber. All right, so what does it look like if you are underactive in your power chakra? I touched on a lot of those, right? But there's your low self-esteem, lack of self-trust, which is huge, weak willpower, poor digestion, your victim mentality, we already mentioned, Are you unreliable or unable to take responsibility? And do you have an attraction to stimulants? If you are overactive, you might be overly aggressive. So you are exuding too much power over people and they're just getting turned off by you. Like, whoa, take a step back, man, chill pill. Do you always need to be right? Are you bossy? Are you power hungry? Too competitive? Do you have an attraction to sedatives, right? Your body is telling you, I need to come down, but you don't understand why that's happening. Are you conceited and self-centered, hyperactive, and very narrow-minded? So in this case, you're going to want to work with wintergreen. If you are overactive in your power chakra and it is causing harm to your life in the way that you are able to work with other people. So what is it going to look like if it's balanced? You're going to be responsible and reliable. You'll have a healthy self-esteem. You'll be able to be spontaneous, playful. You'll have a sense of humor. You'll be able to make decisions and meet challenges, and you'll have a warmth in your personality that's going to actually draw people to you. So think about, in this case, maybe your work situations or power differentials that you might have with your family and how that is playing out for you. What physical ailments might you be experiencing? So, overeating, intestinal digestive disorders, hypoglycemia and diabetes, eczema, acne, food allergies, chronic fatigue and depression, disorders of the stomach, pancreas, gallbladder, and liver. So again, tune into this. I'm giving you this high level overview so that you can just start paying attention to you and your body. We are all very unique, and we are going to be drawn to certain plants and to not certain plants at certain times in our lives. So just take this information and play with it and see what works for you. Okay, so our heart chakra. Color is green. It has 12 petals, and its negative emotion that you would feel primary of the time is grief. So the purpose of this heart chakra is so that we can connect to love, right? Love is about the heart. It's about joy, and it's about inner peace. And it's located in your heart region there. So here's your basic right of the heart chakra: to love and to be loved, and your weekly meditation that you can tune in. Here's a list of your essential oils. I love ylang ylang and I love geranium. Those are my two personal favorites that I go to. And then the adaptive blend is the calming blend that doTERRA uses. It's called Adaptive. Elevation, I don't believe they're selling anymore, but those are the combination of all of the citrus oils. So you can play with citrus oils if you want to for this chakra. And then the Breathe blend, which is the respiratory blend. And then here is your list of crystals that you can use. Remember those green crystals. Rose quartz is a huge one as well. All right, so what will it look like for us if it's underactive? You're going to feel shy. You're going to have a fear of getting hurt, feelings of loneliness or being unloved. You might be suspicious of others and try to catch others, doing things against you. Possessive, antisocial, you'll have lots of judgment and fear of relationships. So again, I mentioned geranium. I personally would combine geranium and rose quartz and work with these two. The plant medicine and the crystal work very, very well together. That geranium is the oil of love and trust. Overactive, you're going to be overly empathetic. So your heart's going to be too open, right? And you're just giving out. You might be overly concerned with what other people are doing. Again, jealousy might show up. Poor boundaries, codependent behaviors, clinging, a tendency to stay in abusive relationships. This is huge. And overly sacrificing yourself to others. I highly encourage using Melaleuca tea tree oil if this is you, and working with malachite and emerald and those green crystals so that you are directly shielding and working with that heart chakra. Melaleuca helps us with keeping away external pathogens, whether they be people or things or emotions, and keep that out of our energetic space. So physically, if your heart chakra has been imbalanced for a long time, you will have disorders of the heart. So cardiovascular issues, breast cancer, I think, is a big one for women who have an underactive heart chakra. The thymus, arms, lungs, shortness of breath, circulation problems. You might experience asthma. In this case, you'll want to use that Breathe respiratory blend. An immune system deficiency. Okay, so the throat chakra is the fifth chakra, obviously right here at the throat, and its color is blue. Its purpose is self-expression, communication, being able to state our feelings, right? And it's got 16 petals, and its negative aspect is lying. So think about lying and when you might be not telling the truth to yourself and perhaps to others. But I think the biggest thing is what we are telling ourselves, right? The throat chakra is the gateway to the heart chakra. And if we are lying to ourselves, we are lying to our heart. So think about that connection. Your basic right is to speak and to be heard. Here's your meditation for the week. Screenshot that if you need it. And I highly, highly recommend lavender. It is the oil of communication. That's my number one that I would go to. And birch, which I have a difficult time getting. I have some birch right now. It smells lovely, but I highly recommend lavender. You can get it at any store. It's very easy and accessible. And then here are your list of crystals that you can work with. All right, so what does it look like if it's underactive? Suppressed feelings, fear of expression, fear of offending others, shyness, weak voice, and poor rhythm. If it's overactive, think about those people who talk excessively. If you stutter, if you have an inability to listen, if you like to gossip about other people, if you have a loud and dominating voice that turns other people off, right? You don't have this scale of being able to see when you are just talking and shouting too much at people, and you have a tendency to interrupt. I can say I, throughout my life, was very imbalanced in my throat chakra, totally ungrounded, excessive talking, especially when I was nervous, all of these things. I really have to continue to work on my throat chakra. And you can see sometimes when I stumble on myself when I'm doing these discussions. The tendency to interrupt is a huge one too. Catch yourself when you are in conversation with people. Do you allow them space to finish what they have to say? Or are you thinking about what you're going to say before they're even finished? Those are throat chakra imbalances and being overactive. Here I would encourage oregano. Now, oregano is a super hot oil. Definitely dilute oregano in this case and work with it directly on the throat. It's also going to it's very antiviral. You want to keep those external pathogens out because they are clouding you, right? And you'll experience physical symptoms like problems in your nasal area, your teeth and gums. You'll have irritated sinuses, jaw pain, and TMJ is a huge one. I remember when I was going through a relationship breakup and I was feeling really unheard and not expressing myself because I wanted to leave this relationship. And for so long, I was experiencing jaw pain. So I know to pay attention to myself, that when I am not expressing my needs and staying true to what I need at my core, I'll get jaw pain. And that's my first clue, like, uh-oh, I gotta work on this and speak my truth. Listen to your voice. Is it too strong, too weak? All right, moving on to the third eye, which is our sixth chakra, located right here on the forehead. It's about intuition and imagination and wisdom, our ability to think and to make decisions for ourselves based on what our truth is. So its color is primarily purple or indigo and has 2 lotus flowers. So its negative aspect is illusion. So people who might have an overactive sixth eye chakra, like think about those people who are like way too woo-woo, right? And they are just not connected to anything in the real world, right? They're just like, oh yeah, there you go. Like nothing wrong with that. But remember, you got to connect those chakras together. You bring the information in and it works down through speaking your truth, knowing your truth, and then acting it out into the physical world, the lower we go into those chakras. So here's your basic rite and your meditation that you can work with if this is something that you struggle with. And here are your essential oils. In Focus Oil is the Focus Blend, doTERRA's Focus Blend. They might call it something else in another brand that you use. And lemongrass, clary sage, and Immortelle is really good. It's the skin blend. So if you have skin issues, primarily people use it for that. And then Past Tense, which is the tension blend. Think about if you get headaches. I'm going to talk about this, but you've got a lot of energy going on up in the third eye. And here's what you're going to be experiencing. So if you are underactive, you are not going to be able to plan and set goals for yourself. You're going to be narrow-minded. You're going to live in a lot of denial. You'll have poor vision and poor memory. You'll have difficulty seeing the future and a lack of imagination. So in this case, I would highly recommend clary sage oil. You can apply it right here to the chakra, and you can work with the following oils or following crystals here, moonstone being a huge one. That helps connect the third eye and the throat chakra. And then overactive. This is if you're obsessed with psychic visions, right? I already talked about those overly woo-woo people who are just completely ungrounded. You might experience paranoia or hallucinations. You have a tendency to space out. You have difficulty concentrating, and you might have nightmares, right? Your chakra is too open. You're getting too much information from the ether out there. And you need to be like, wow, okay, this is too much. I need to work with that so that I can bring in the key messages that I need to work with my spirit and manifest that out in the physical world. Terra Shield, this is the outdoor blend. So this is like the anti-bug blend. So when, like, you might use it when you go camping to keep the critters and stuff away, but you also have to think energetically that you want to keep negative thoughts, negative entities, negative pathogens, whether they're viral or bacterial, out of your energetic space. So I highly recommend, if you have overactive, to use Terra Shield. So physical ailments, I already mentioned headaches, migraines, seizures, neurological disorders, personality disorders. You might have scalp and hair issues, your hair's falling out, vision problems, and again, mental illness. All right, so our last one is the crown chakra, right here at the top of the head, the seventh chakra that opens us up to all of the earthly and ether realms. It's about cognition and our connection to spirituality and our higher self and self-purpose. It's got 1,000 lotus flowers on it. And its color is usually violet or white. Here's your basic rite of this chakra that you can state to yourself this week. And here is your meditation. So here's your essential oils. I'll mention my top 2 in the next slide. And then here are some crystals that you can work with. You might be drawn to different ones, right? I don't want to just tell you what to do. I'll just give you recommendations, but I want you to tune into yourself because you are your best healer. All right, so the underactive crown chakra, you might experience a sense of separation and isolation from others, trouble trusting the universe, a lack of belief in a higher power, even learning difficulty, and you might have an excess in your lower chakras, right? We want to try to stay evenly balanced in all of these. And if you are underactive down here, where is that energy going to go? It's going to go downward. So think of that excessive root chakra, excessive sacral chakra, power chakra, overactive traits that I talked about. If you are overactive in the seventh chakra, you are overly intelligent and just be seeking information all the time. You might have a spiritual addiction, overly concerned with humanity. You might be confused and disassociated from your body. So how are you going to want to feel? If your seventh chakra is balanced, what is going to be happening for you in your life? You will have love and acceptance of the divine, intelligence, thoughtful and aware and open-minded ability to recognize and receive spiritual guidance. So we get a lot of information all of the time. What is going to resonate with us? Some things just aren't going to resonate. And this is going to give you that ability to discern for you what is your truth. You're going to have a sense of oneness and the ability to transcend physical laws and be comfortable here on the earth. So underactive, I forgot to mention, work with Melissa oil. Love Melissa oil. I take it internally almost every single day. Super high antiviral properties, and it is very good for reaching your higher self. You could also use frankincense daily. I use frankincense daily as well to not only help with my cellular DNA, but to also clear my energy space. I wake up every morning. It's the first thing I do is work with my frankincense. And then here's some crystals for you to work with. Now, if you are overactive in this chakra, you'll want to work with rosemary oil. And so rosemary is very cleansing in its herbal properties, and it helps you to tune in to your intelligence. It helps with focus, and it helps with that dissociation. So physical symptoms that you might have is dementia, right? If you are ungrounded and out here for way too long and not connected to reality, you will have signs of dementia. You might have autoimmune disorders, epilepsy, coma at its worst. You might experience migraines, brain tumors, amnesia, and cognitive delusions. So next steps. That was a lot of information, right? So again, I hope you've been taking screenshots of the oils and the crystals that you can work with and what it means to be balanced and imbalanced. Definitely work with these meditations as well during the week. I like to personally put the meditation up on a 3x5 card next to my mirror, because again, we want to be looking at ourselves when we are stating these affirmations and connecting with our eyes to ourselves. I know it's really hard to look in the mirror sometimes and like state that you love yourself and state that you deserve really good things, but that's where the work really lies. And so for me, I just put a 3x5 card up next to the mirror, stated my meditation, looked myself in the mirror and did it over and over and over until I felt balanced in that chakra. Tune in each day to your chakras to gauge their health and vitality. You've got all the signs and symptoms going on. These are going to change every single day, right? The world is not, it happens to us. Things happen suddenly, traumas and all of that stuff. So document the shape and the size and how fast it might be turning and whether it's going the opposite way. Start to really tune into that. Apply your oils daily until you feel that you are balanced. Carry your stones with you in your pocket, in your purse, just on your person until you feel this chakra is balanced. I already mentioned wearing the color. That was huge for me, just simply wearing the t-shirt of what that chakra is, so that I was just reminded all day, like you're looking down at yourself, you know what color you're wearing. And like you have a big meeting and you're going to be talking to a group. That's always really scary for people, right? Wear your yellow, wear your blue, and have fun and play around with it. So other things to notice, I already mentioned, is it small? Is it big? Is it overpowering? Is it underpowering? We talked about direction, clockwise or counterclockwise, how fast it's spinning, if it's dizzyingly out of control, or if it starts and stops. Those are information for you. And then tune in, if you can, as you start working with this, what the health of the petals are. Are they healthy? Are there any of them missing, wilted? How many are there? When you really start to work with this, you'll be able to tune into this. And just please remember to have fun. Okay, so how could you get oils and crystals? Obviously, reach out to me. Please join my Oil Mavens group on Facebook. We have doc talks. We have access to free healthcare where our doctors give free Zoom classes. I go live talking about all sorts of different things. We have Qigong. It's Rosemary Time Oil Mavens. There's the logo right there, so you can't miss it because there's other Oil Mavens groups out there. And then if you want access to crystals, I have an amazing dealer that I work with named Ruthie from Cattail Crystals. Just hit me up and I can get you guys connected. Her prices are some of the best that I've seen. Or just go to your local crystal shop, feel them and play around with them. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you again and hopefully see you on my Facebook group. And thanks for tuning into my channel. Don't forget to subscribe.